You want to call the meeting to order, 10:02? As I don't see any members of the public, I don't believe. Public forum.
I'm a member of public.
Oh, Daniel, okay. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks.
Consent calendar, minutes from the March 4th meeting. If I can get a motion and second, or any questions or comments on that one?
Motion.
Nico?
Second.
That was Harvard?
Yes.
All in favor?
How do you want to do that? You want to raise a hand, vote?
Yeah, you can raise a hand, or if I don't hear an objection, we're good. Okay, 4-0. So we have the item 5, A and B, is the election of the chair and vice chair.
I nominate Henry.
I second.
I went ahead and put a poll together so that we can vote. So this will be only available. So I think it'll show up for everybody, but if the board members can, let's see, why isn't it? Oh, I just tested this and it's not working. Great. All right, well, my electronic poll is not going to work unless I take a few minutes to set it up, which I'd rather not do. So let's do it the old-fashioned way.
I nominate Henry.
Henry, you're on mute if you want to comment on your nomination.
We keep him on mute. That way he can't dispute it.
Henry, down in the bottom left is the mute button if you're attempting to unmute yourself.
Did I do it?
There. Yep.
My suggestion is it's time to rotate the chairmanship.
You're pulling your name.
No, I'm trying to get consent of the committee, the board.
Doesn't look like anybody's in favor of that, Henry.
Who asked you? I'll hang around if that's what you guys want.
We want that.
I was going to nominate you, Howard.
No, 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 no.
It's not a heavy lift.
Hey, don't be knocking Henry. Come on, he does good work.
But you do have to put up with parking staff, which is a heavy lift in itself.
Oh yeah, you are tough characters. I will say that.
Henry, I think you've done a good job and you're good at keeping everything kind of calm and you're a good fit for that role, I think.
Thank you, Howard.
So unless you're 100% out, you want to take a vote on Henry continuing on as the chairperson.
Well, does Henry want to continue? Henry, did you want to continue?
If you guys are, in support of that, I'll do it another year.
I'm in support of it.
Right? All in favor of Henry continuing on? All right. And the vice chair.
I vote Tomiko.
All right. Deferring, she's shaking her head.
No, I just feel that I'm too new. You know what I mean? Like, I would love if you or Charlie kept going with this, just so I could watch.
But you are young and energetic.
That's all I got to offer? No. We need a little more expertise than that. I'm open to either of you two. If another year from now, then I'd consider it, but just not right now.
I'll propose Charlie and I alternate. He got me last year. So either way.
Wolfram's not here, so you could.
Oh. That is a great proposal.
I'm just kidding. Or was I?
What is the proposal?
Throw a name out and make a vote.
Charlie, are you up for alternating years?
I am. That'll be fine.
Okay, I nominate Charlie then.
All in favor? Or there it is. All right.
Thanks, Charlie.
Not a problem.
I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. I can share it. I'm not sure how much. Well, there.
Arian, I don't want to jump in, but you
Please
might
do.
want to ask the chair or if there's the possibility of taking 8A out of order, since I see the whole team is here for that. And
Yep.
while parking is amazing stuff to listen to.
This is Wolfram. I just joined. Sorry for being late.
Oh, welcome, Wolfram.
That's fine. Let's go to 8A.
Yeah.
Fine.
If the team, I'm seeing they're all here, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I provided them with an opportunity to get a text and come in late in the meeting.
Okay.
We didn't want to miss out. All right. Arian, do you want to start us off or should we just jump in?
Go ahead and jump in.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for having us here today to talk about the upcoming downtown transportation plan. Emily Breslin and I'm Jessica Zank. We've met most of us, I'm looking around, but very happy to be here. Emily Breslin and I are going to give this update today, and we're looking forward to some of your feedback and input. Emily, would you be able to share the slides?
Yep. Give me one
Excellent.
moment here.
Absolutely. Good. And we do have Eric Idlin and Wilson Tam listening for your feedback. They are co-managing the downtown transportation plan for the city of San Jose.
Sorry, my computer is lagging. Give me a moment here.
No problem. No problem. I know this is the first meeting since shelter in place, so I hope everybody has been doing okay despite the general state of the world.
Can you guys see that okay?
Yes, I can.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
Full
This-
screen. Why
There
is
you
this
go.
not full screen?
You go to present.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There we
All
go.
right. Well, we are here. It is the Downtown Parking Board. I'm Jessica Zank and Emily Breslin is right here. We wanted to take this opportunity to give you a brief update on the downtown transportation plan and what is, geographically somewhat a subset of that plan, which is the Deardon Station area. So we're here to clarify these efforts and get some of your input. Next slide. Great. So the Deardon Station Area Plan, many of you have probably been monitoring this, but with all of the work going on for the Diridon Station itself, the Downtown West project proposed by Google near the station, and changes like the policy change regarding the one engine inoperable policy that the airport had, among other things, the city has decided to update the Diridon Station Area Plan, which was adopted by the City Council in 2014. We are expecting to release a draft of that update for public comment in October, and are hoping to spend most of the time with you today on that update, and particularly how it relates to parking and transportation demand management. We are also starting what is a broader downtown transportation plan that will come to fruition, we hope, next year. Emily, could you go to the next slide? Because it'll help us with the geography. Great. So we recognize that there's a lot going on in some small and larger overlapping areas. So we wanted to spend a little bit of time on this graphic to try our best to explain the different geographies at play here and the different processes. So I'm going to start with kind of the smallest geography, which is there in red, which is the Diridon Integrated Station Concept Plan. This is an effort being undertaken by the City of San Jose in partnership with VTA, Caltrain, High Speed Rail, and the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, or MTC, to really determine the long-term vision and build out for the station itself and the surrounding rail tracks. So you'll kind of see that marked in red. It's a broad understanding of the basic station footprint, and you'll see that area kind of in red to the north. Might be wondering what that is beyond the tracks themselves. That's actually the Caltrain maintenance facility up there in the northwest of the slide. And all of these elements, in a very long-term perspective, are really slated to change with the advent of high-speed rail, with BART coming in from the east into the Diridon Station area, with Caltrain electrification, which is under construction right now, and then a really ambitious long-range business plan that Caltrain adopted last year to increase service throughout the region and throughout San Jose. So that is the Diridon Integrated Station Concept Plan. Moving out to the next geography, you'll see in yellow, that's the basic boundaries of the Downtown West project proposal by Google. So the city is also, working with Google to review that proposal. We expect the draft documentation, namely the draft EIR, to come out in October. There's a station area advisory group meeting this evening about that project. There's a lot going on in this geography to try to determine how that, city's perspective on that project, et cetera, what type of mitigation and other improvements could be needed, design clarifications, et cetera, for that effort. Moving out again is the Diridon Station Area Plan that will be updated, as I mentioned earlier, which is in green. And we're looking at a list of key circulation projects from the transportation perspective under there, as well as how we really manage parking to best effect and manage travel demand to best effect, circled in red. Thank you so much, Emily.
A question.
Yes, Henry.
Is the Downtown West part of the Diridon Station Area Plan?
It is. Great question. Yes. It is contained within the boundary of the city's Diridon Station Area Plan.
Thank you.
There is, I should mention, one of the proposed changes to the Diridon Station Area Plan does expand the boundary of the original DSAP project a bit to include the site that's bounded by Santa Clara and San Fernando, right around Delmas, that was previously entitled by Trammell Crow, but that's kind of a nuance. Now it's proposed to be wholly contained. Yeah, great question. And then last but not least, you'll see the giant blue, which is a downtown transportation plan that I know we've really been looking forward to and think is extremely important. The last time the city really undertook any sort of circulation and access plan for the downtown was 2002, where the Department of Transportation, in partnership with the redevelopment agency, looked at circulation and access planning for the downtown. And we know that a lot has changed in and around our downtown since that time. We did begin this work in the spring, to be honest, right around the start of COVID. We upfronted some of the analysis before COVID really struck to analyze the western part of the downtown in a bit more depth, and now are really kind of making sure that we can launch into the transportation plan in earnest. Our first workshop, which we'll remind you about again later on, is scheduled for October 7th to really get broader feedback. Now, this is a whole downtown transportation plan that's really aimed at supporting the type of place and community that we have and want to have to improve the equity and accessibility of our downtown, to make it easier to navigate, right? Sometimes, if you're like me, you might be frustrated by the fact that, you're on a two-way street and all of a sudden it stops and becomes one way. You can't get through to where you're trying to go. There are, kind of key things like that about the circulation and navigation of the downtown that we're really interested in tackling. And as well as making sure that the downtown street life and public life are well supported. And then the final thing I think Emily will circle with her next click is that one of the key deliverables within this broader downtown transportation plan is really a strategy about parking and curbside management. So we're going to give a very brief update on that today, but really ask for your continued kind of insight as we go through this planning process over the year.
Jessica, can I ask a question?
Absolutely, Charlie.
Charlie. So I've been extremely critical over the years about the city and how it always excludes San Jose State in all of its maps and its planning. So on here, I have to say thank you, Jessica. And I know you drive through our campus all the time and ride through our campus all the time. Yeah. And so you've included San Jose State. So thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think it's a great point. And one other thing that underscores, Charlie, is just that, I think we have to show some kind of boundaries, right? Because we need some definition to kind of where and what we're studying. And sorry, I might be interrupted by social distance learning, so please bear with me. But the point that kind of Charlie's highlighting and that I wanted to underscore is that, transportation goes to and through places. So the boundaries are not kind of perhaps as fixed as they look like. If you're a block north of this or a block east of this, we care about how the transportation system works for you too, because you have to get in and out of the area, right? So wanted to that's a great point, Charlie. And we know, San Jose State is so important to kind of how downtown works, to be frank, and especially things like the public life and the vitality of it. So absolutely. All right, next slide, Emily, unless there are other questions. All right, this is the last slide for me before I turn it over to Emily to talk in more depth about transportation management and parking. But just to underscore, kind of zooming in on what was that green area, the Diridon Station area plan. Why are we updating it? It was only adopted 6 years ago, 2014, after a lot of work. And the key things to remember here are that the objectives of that plan have not changed really. When you look at that document, there's very little at a foundational level that the city thinks should be different in terms of goals or objectives or vision. At the same time, a lot of the individual circumstances of the area have changed dramatically. So some of those, include that plan included a ballpark aimed at the athletics. I like looking at Henry's hat while saying that. And sadly, that ballpark is not coming to fruition, Major League Baseball. Another, major change that I mentioned earlier is that the airport height limits, the one engine inoperable policy that we've had in place for a number of years, that was changed after a very comprehensive review. The Downtown West project proposal is another kind of foundational reshaping of the options in the area. And then certainly not least is the collaborative work about how the Diridon station itself should be built out. You may remember that 3 changes. I'm gonna be right back, okay? 3 changes were made with the Diridon station area. And that is up in this first bullet, which is to elevate the tracks, remove them from kind of the walking environment around the station, make the city and the downtown more connected to each other under those tracks, improve a lot of the service, which will have a broader set of rail tracks and platforms. And then also the third decision was to stay substantially within the rail corridors as they exist today as you go north and south of the station. We're also planning for entrances at roughly Santa Clara Street as well as roughly San Fernando to this new station to make it kind of easy to get in north, south, east, west. All right, and with that, we want to focus on these last couple of things about how we will manage parking to ensure the continued success of the SAP Center and the Sharks per our arena management agreement, and then really comprehensively manage both transportation demand management and parking at the district level. So Emily, go for it.
Great, thank you, Jess, and good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Emily Breslin. I work alongside some fabulous planners within our Department of Transportation. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the parking and transportation management, demand management elements of the Deardon Station Area Plan. And as listed on the screen, there are several key elements that are outlined in the 2020 update. So the first is a parking benefits district, and this would essentially mean that a portion of the revenue that's generated from on and off street parking and other financial mechanisms within the Deardon boundary would be accounted for fundamentally, separately from other city funds and reinvested back into the district. So these funds, upon determination per the directive of an advisory board, would determine what kinds of improvements these revenues should fund. The second part is a—
Emily, what is the parking tax? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so that particular piece is not written into the Deardon Station Area Plan, but it is something that is oftentimes a part of a parking benefits district as a means of funding improvements within the area. So it's a part of several different financial mechanisms by which you could fund improvements in the area and direct them specifically within a particular geography. So that's really just an example of, in addition to new meter revenue, so if we were to install new meters within the area, on-street meters, do kind of price parking within our garages, and then similarly, one thing we might also consider is a parking tax within the area.
Yeah, and it's essentially a surcharge, Henry, on top of the parking that's collected either by private or public entities.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just confused by you calling this implement parking benefits district. Don't you mean establish a parking benefits district?
Correct.
Because it doesn't exist today.
Correct. Yep.
Right.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So to follow on Henry's point there, this would be for this particular West Side district only.
Correct. For the Deardon Station area, that's what we've written into the plan. Yep, that's right. It's within a particular boundary that Jess outlined in one of the previous slides there. I think it was the one in green.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. But it's not for the rest of downtown San Jose.
Well, we're going to get to
downtown. It's not for,
Right. Correct. Yeah. And I think, Emily's going to get into this a little bit more, but, we've been trying to make sure that we address the unique parking needs of the SAP Center, as well as the unique enhanced maintenance needs and other transportation demand management in this area. So it's really, you know, about this district, but as Emily will get into, we also want to hear your thoughts about what, if any, elements that we're looking at within the Diridon area you think we should consider exploring elsewhere. So that's kind of a preview.
So a follow-on question to that, and again, my knowledge is a little bit dated from my days with the Sharks, and I don't recall, I clearly don't know any new agreements that the Sharks have with the city, but back in my day there, if this is a parking tax for that area, the Sharks control X number of parking spots, you know, I think it's 2,000 or thereabouts, and they have indirect control over, you know, a couple thousand more maybe. If there's a tax, then that's essentially being passed on to the season ticket holders or the patrons of the Sharks events. Have the Sharks been appraised of the parking tax? Because there's a real tie between what the city owes the Sharks as far as number of parking spots. And then if there's gonna be a tax involved, that's kind of, to me, that's kind of double dipping on the city's part.
So the Sharks are one of the many, you know, extremely important partners in the Diridon area. So we have talked with them about the Deardon Parking and Transportation Management District. As Emily said, and we probably should clarify on the slide, the parking tax is one potential way of covering the associated costs. It is not the only way that other jurisdictions have done it, and it is not a way that we've determined we will do it. It's one of the options.
Yeah, thank you, Jess, for that clarification. You know, we don't want to misstate anything. This was really just as an example. It could be a number of different financing mechanisms. For example, property-based improvement district is another kind of way of corralling revenue and reallocating that within the geography that it is generated. So just to be clear, the parking tax is not is not codified in any document at this point. It is, however, something that is part of what we're exploring as part of the parking benefits district, which is written into the plan.
So I think my confusion stems from, right, the first question Henry asked, because the way this reads is you're going to implement, or you're enacting, or whatever words you want to use here. It doesn't say potential options or things being explored.
Sure. And I think that one of the things that we're thinking through is we as city staff, we don't establish anything. The city council really does that with us. So we're recommending or proposing to recommend in the first draft of this Deardon Station Area Plan that the city, you know, establish a parking and transportation management district, and that with that direction, we would then further explore what financing mechanisms make the most sense. So we can totally clarify that. That's shorthand on this slide, Charlie and Henry, to your point, but that would be the process that would need to be followed. Yeah.
So another, I'm sorry, I don't mean to monopolize here, but another thing that they did in London, right, is if you went into that section of town, right, you're paying a tax, right? You're paying, you know, by bringing your car to that area, and so that way, you know, that might be another option and for you guys to consider here. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one to write down.
I think, you know, Emily and Jessica, I think you need to revise your summary here so that you don't raise the hair of some people in the city or private sector.
Duly noted. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. We don't want to mislead in any way, so thank you.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, thanks for that feedback. You know, part of the second kind of bolded text here is a transportation management association, which is a third party, typically nonprofit, whose primary responsibilities would be twofold. So one is managing TDM services in the area. So, you know, this could include overseeing the distribution of transit passes to commuters, residents and employees in the area. It could include hosting commuter events, so a bike to work day, for example, marketing, and then other kind of individualized first and last mile programs to help people get to the area. And then the second piece of that oversight would be to evaluate and monitor TDM plans that would be required of new development in the area. And I'll get to that specific requirement in a subsequent slide. A central part as...
Emily?
Yep.
I've done a lot of these TDMs and planning approvals at the city. Right now, they're all individually monitored by the property owner or the operator on the property. Would this mean that that would be duplicated, or would that?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is intended to really simplify that process and make it so that that individual developer or then the property owner who inherits it wouldn't have to have that responsibility anymore. The TMA would take that over, so it wouldn't duplicate. It would kind of simplify for the property owners in the area that someone else would do that work.
Yeah,
and
the way we kind of...
That's what we've seen in other communities, yeah, that it does kind of help with consistency, both to kind of the people in the district as well as the employers and the developers within the district.
Yeah.
Well, you know, to be honest, it's to keep everybody honest.
That too. That too. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. You know, Jess mentioned a central part of this is obviously preserving the city's commitment to SAP by maintaining a certain amount of parking spaces for the center's patrons. And then finally, the final element here is maximizing the potential for shared parking, where land use activities are the densest in our city, and also quite complementary in nature. So different uses across time over time during the day. So you have commuters versus visitors to the SAP center. That's a natural kind of synergy between uses that we want to ensure we're taking advantage of within a space that's quite limited. So heading on into the next slide. So working together, these strategies can both generate funds to improve and increase quality of life in the Diridon area, as well as, and it's not mentioned here explicitly, help the city to meet some of the goals that are outlined in its 2040 general plan and climate smart San Jose plan, including and importantly, increasing opportunities to get to the area by alternative modes of travel and enhanced economic vitality. But I mean, I think importantly too is, you know, part of this is really reinvesting back into the area so that property owners and patrons, you know, all are really seeing tangible benefits in the district itself.
We're already doing that. I'm confused. The parking board and the parking program is already allocating funds to the Deardon plan.
Well, and this would be potentially, if we're directed to go in this direction, this would be looking at additional revenue, additional money, and how that would be, where the sources that would come from, as we talked about, potentially new meters, potentially a parking surcharge or tax on top of the existing rates, potentially some sort of assessment district, as Emily mentioned, and how those would complement this area and really be additive to what the parking board and already does for the greater downtown and Japantown, et cetera.
Thank you, Justin.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jess. Yeah, so as I mentioned in the previous slide, you know, what the transportation demand management requirements look like in the Deardon area. So it's, new development would contribute to, you know, balancing and enhancing the transportation system in three important ways. So first is by offering, you know, tenants of new development, whether it be residents or employees, programmatic offering. So on the left-hand side there, you see something like a subsidized transit pass or perhaps a bike share pass. The centerpiece there is by implementing active parking management strategies. So this includes pricing parking, this includes sharing parking for residential, and for residential development, unbundling parking. Unbundling the cost of a parking stall from the leases on offer. And then the third piece here is by making direct contributions to the transportation infrastructure itself. And this is in the form of complete streets investments or transit priority improvements. So then further elaboration on the Transportation Management Association, or shorthand as TMA. Part of what we're looking at is an oversight body for the area that would look over the provision of TDM services. So to your point, that employers can really focus on their core businesses, as well as to monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of TDM plans in the area. And I think the essence and the importance of this entity is that it is the interface between development, new development in the area, and the transportation system itself. And what that allows is this entity to identify and create and advocate for transportation investments and services in the area to make the kind of non-singular occupant vehicle driving that we're looking to encourage more viable. So, you know, you can see kind of some of the points we've made here is that TMA overseeing a lot of, and to your point, you know, keeping businesses honest, but really enabling the kind of travel to the area that we think is really important for Diridon.
I think before you leave that slide, Emily, something that you know, comes to mind is that our most successful kind of version of a TMA in San Jose, we don't have an official TMA, but we do have transportation solutions at San Jose State. Mm-hmm. And that team at San Jose State does a lot of this function today, right? For the 36,000, is that right, roughly, Charlie? Mm-hmm. You know, population of campus, they serve that function. And what we're really talking about here on the western side of downtown is, you know, 20 to 30,000 employees and another 4,000 to 5,000 households, so maybe 10,000 new people. We're talking about kind of adding that amount of life and density into the area and having something that's sufficient, kind of like transportation solutions, to really help people navigate the area and navigate their lives within the area in a really easy way, right? Without having to drive and clog up the roads all the time. So I think, you know, that helps me think about kind of the scale of this change on the western side of downtown. And so just thought it might help the parking board as well.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Getting closer to the end here. So this slide further elaborates on the active parking management we envision for the area. So the key information in this slide, and which is really emphasized in the Deardon area plan, the update is that as one of the most vital transit and commercial hubs in the South Bay over the next decade, the station area's viability is really underpinned by smart parking policies that can help us mitigate congestion in the area, as just mentioned, increase quality of life and walkability, reduce spillover parking, and this entails sharing parking between uses throughout the day, unbundling parking so people really have the choice about whether they want a parking space or not. So for residents in the area, they can make that choice and opt in or out. And finally, that pricing these spaces allows people to consider the full cost of their mode choice, whatever that ends up being in that moment. So then you might be wondering, so why is this presentation titled the Downtown Transportation Plan Parking when we're talking so much about the Deardon station area. And the reason for this is that over the past few months, we have launched the downtown transportation plan. And in thinking about the earliest slide that Jess presented, one key element of that plan is the parking and curbside management strategy. So as we endeavor into the next year or so of planning and engagement with you and with other key stakeholders, part of what we're thinking about is the relationship between Diridon and downtown and the appropriate boundaries of the Diridon Parking and Transportation Management District, and the parking policies and TDM policies that would be couched within the district concept as we've just described it. So just a little flavor of what's to come for downtown transportation plan. I've stolen this slide from Wilson, our great colleague who's co-leading the effort with Eric Eidlin. So we are really at the outset of the planning process. We're doing a lot of background research, looking at our existing conditions so that we know where we are today and how we might use that information to kind of plan for the future. We're doing a lot of visioning. We're looking at evaluation frameworks by which we can prioritize the projects and the circulation for the downtown. We are also looking at financing and implementation. And then we would be going to council, I believe Jess can solidify this, but fall of 2021. Is that correct?
That is absolutely our intent, kind of COVID permitting, right? And all the things that go along with it, because engagement is such a big part of this effort.
Right. And then, yeah, just mentioned this earlier. So we do have
Emily, can you go back a slide?
Yeah.
So this looks to me like it's code for something. So what's the financing and implementation? So what are we financing?
So that's a great question. I don't think it's intended to be code, but I think a common challenge with planning efforts is that you come up with this great plan and then you have no way of paying for it or implementing it. And so we're trying to avoid that.
But what
trap.
is it we're envisioning that we're going to have to pay for, other than the parking garage outside of SAP Center?
There we go.
If that's the code, then I just want to break that code with this committee.
And let me make 2 points on that. So we did kind of transition where could you go back one slide to the graphic, Emily? There we go. Just to remind everybody, we are toggling back and forth between these kind of confusing geographies of the green, which is the existing Diridon Station area plan that is being updated, and then the broader blue. So now, as Emily's showing this graphic of the progression of the downtown transportation plan process, that's back up to the blue. And I'll give you my low-hanging fruit idea of, one of the transportation infrastructure needs that is likely to come out of this downtown transportation plan, which is, you guys probably are well aware that there are 7 blocks of St. James and Julian streets that are currently one-way. And to the east, Julian and St. James were converted to two-way traffic in roughly 2012, 2013. And then to the west, they were converted to two-way traffic with the development at North San Pedro area 2016 or so, 2016, 2017. And so we have these really awkward 7 blocks. That is the type of thing that is an unfunded need that is likely to be identified during the circulation work of this plan, that we need to figure out how to identify the project, and if it is as important as I think it will be, to make that more sensible and more easy to navigate, that's the type of project that we would need to say, okay, here's the project, here's our rough understanding of the cost. What are the ways that we could do this, right? And we know we'll need to look for grants. We have, in fact, already looked for some grants for that project. It's not easy to come by a couple of conversion type of grants. But we also know that, cities have pursued other ways of, working with new development or their own capital improvement program to kind of figure out how to fund the needed improvements. So that is what that is in code on the next slide, which is that if you go forward, Emily, 1, there we go. So number 4, identifying the programs and the projects that are responsive to the vision and that rise to the top in the evaluation process. Once we have kind of that, circulation network set of changes that we've identified that are important to the community and the city, then we do want to have a sense of how to implement them, including how they would be funded or financed. So it's not just looking at things like Lot E in the SEP Center area, but kind of that whole downtown and what comes out of this process that we're starting. Does that help?
It does. So, but you're talking about, I think,
yeah,
undoing one-way streets around St. James Park. Is that what
yes,
is that
okay.
is,
and that has not been decided. That is just a project that that jumps to my mind when I think about making it more sensible.
And I understand that, but I thought last night, and is it Wilson, was presenting to the community working group on, that I sit on,
yeah.
and that he was talking about having more closed streets in the downtown in the west area. So it seems like two different, unrelated, but I think related things that are going on.
Yeah. So, and Wilson, you can definitely fill in, but the part
Let me quickly ask the question. What do you mean by more closed streets?
We've had a lot of questions, including, we've had a lot of questions over time. For example, could you close San Pedro permanently? Or could you close Post Street permanently? Or what if we close 2nd Street through St. James Park? Or what if we closed San Salvador behind San Jose State, right? We've kind of had all of these different questions over time presented to us as transportation staff. And our fundamental answer is that, you can't look at any of these changes in isolation. They need to be understood as part of a total network, right? So part of the work of this plan is not only to look at, the questions that have been posed to us in terms of closing those types of street segments, but also changing from one-way to two-way, or other kind of fundamental adjustments to the street network within the downtown, and looking at it not as one change, one closure, one opening, one two-way, all of that, but rather as how it all fits together. And so whether, this may be what came up yesterday, and Wilson, you can totally jump in, but one of the questions within the Downtown West project proposal is a proposal to close Delmas to through traffic between Santa Clara Streets and San Fernando. That's part of that development proposal. There would be entrances to underground parking, for that building, but you would no longer have the through street. So it's kind of also allowing us to evaluate things like that potential change, but in a comprehensive way rather than piecemeal.
Yeah, Jess, can I just piggyback off of that?
Sure.
This is David Chan from Councilmember Raul Peralez's office. So just to kind of provide an anecdote, when our office was proposing to do the pilot on San Pedro Street, to close it down for several weekends, while we got support, there was a lot of apprehension. And one message that we got was that, if we were to explore something like this in the near future, it needs to be done comprehensively. It needs to be done cohesively, which is what DOT staff is doing. Is they're not just looking at, like Jess said, piecemeal, street by street, but looking at it as the whole pie. And so that's something that the council member supports looking at.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Let me, you were all very large on my screen and I can't find my mouse. There we go. Okay. So just one more slide here. So this is in terms of our engagement, what is imminently approaching. So we have a series of speaker series that will be kind of around transportation related topics, but certainly kind of how transportation touches all areas of life. So you'll see a few examples of those below, and we will certainly keep you appraised of the dates for those. And then specifically, we do have an outreach event happening on October 7th from 5:30 to 7:30 for the downtown transportation plan specifically. And you can see a few more details there as well. And I think with that, that is the last slide, and happy for any further questions. Thank you for your time.
Any questions?
I think we can follow up as Emily said, that workshop is coming up, and also our website should be more thoroughly up. There's kind of snippets right now, but not a comprehensive website. And if it's okay with everybody, we can send that to Arian to kind of send out to you guys, because we'd love not only your participation, but also kind of your networks, right? Other people in your communities who would be interested in attending and participating.
So let me be clear. You were saying that you would update this presentation and have Arian send it to us?
Arian can have this presentation right now. What I was specifically saying is we will send you more details offline through Arian for the upcoming workshops and when the website is live to facilitate participation.
Right, thank you. Okay, if we're at the end of that discussion, we'll go back up top to 5.
Thank you.
5C.
Thank you.
Approval of the
5C
annual work
is
plan.
the annual work plan. It's our standard items across the year. If there's any comments or anything on that, open to making any edits to it. Otherwise, it is an item for approval.
I would have one comment, Arian. We talked about this earlier, I think, as to the status of the operations of meters throughout downtown and whether there's additional funding needed to maintain those meters.
I think we can cover that under parking programs and rates. Is there, let's see, I believe. And then in the, let's see, that's a CIP update.
You're talking about the last item?
I was just looking in here just because, just seeing if there was somewhere in the vagueness of our items that we could just count it in there. We can add it if you want it on there specifically. Heather, Elias, any idea? I mean, this was spurred by a customer's comment that his credit card was not accepted at a meter. It was a anomaly, not a systemic issue across the locations of on-street meters. I mean, we had looked that day and responded to the gentleman who commented. There were thousands of credit card transactions that day. But nonetheless, I think we can cover that in the November meeting under just kind of our normal parking programs kind of item. I'll make a note to ensure that we cover kind of the status of the meters.
Yes, I think the concept is minimize complaints.
Yep.
So, can I get a motion on the work plan? Charlie, thank you. Second, Tamiko?
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4. Wolfram, you there?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I approve
All right.
it.
5-0. The next item is the memo to Transportation and Environment Committee on our work plan and highlights from last fiscal year. This is a template provided that we go to T&E annually. So it just highlights at a very high level some of the items that we've done throughout the year and that we will do. It's usually just a play off of the work plan that we just approved. Any comments or anything on that one? That's another action item.
It's pretty generic, right? It's just.
It is.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mika?
All in favor?
The second was from Charlie?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor? Wolfram, is that yes? All right.
Yes. Sorry, my video camera is not working properly.
No problem. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss you.
Yeah, it's freezing all the time, so I'm not sure what's wrong.
The next item, 6A, the FY 2021 Budget and Five-Year CIP. So this one I'm just going to kick off by saying the document before you is not all that realistic, given the fact that we developed this back in early April. So I'm happy to go through it, but just acknowledging that the reality is significantly different. And we'll touch on that to a certain degree in the 7A, just in terms of what we've been doing, the resumption of our parking system back in August. But I can touch on this. This is typically, we would have done this, I think, back in, we were supposed to have a meeting in what, June, I believe? No. Yeah. We would have had a June meeting. So we would have brought this to you typically in June as an action item. Given the fact that the proposed budget was already adopted by the city back in June, we're just bringing it forward as an update, but admittedly saying the revenue numbers, the expense numbers, most of what's in this document and published is not accurate at this point in time.
So, Aaron, you're asking us to retroactively approve this?
No, this is nothing more than an update at this point. I was just acknowledging that typically we would have brought this to you at an earlier point in time and asked and recommended an approval of the budget that we were bringing forward. Given the time frame, we don't have it.
FYI.
Consider us updated.
Yep.
Well, why don't you go ahead to 7A and we'll have a better picture of the budget.
I think it makes a lot of sense to do that. There's not a whole lot in that document that's all that relevant anymore. So 6A7, where's, I was gonna pull up, here we go. I put together just some high level notes and then some details on where we stand. I'm gonna share my screen. There we go. So taking some information out of our memo, our council memo that went to council back in June. So, I mean, this is just a lot of the high level stuff, you know, about what has transpired. So not that we need to rehash it, but it was kind of interesting again to kind of show where we've come. So back on March 19th, so March 17th is when the city and most people started sheltering in place. On the 19th, we suspended all of our parking operations as they were deemed non-essential. Basically throughout March and April, the city and our parking operator worked to put together a limited staffing model to continue to maintain the garages and lots. And I think that goes to a certain degree with the remote work of the city staff from the meter perspective. But we continued to operate the garages, although they were free and the gates were lifted and the lots were unmanned and free. but we continue to clean them and maintain them throughout the quote unquote shelter in place closure period of time. At some point in mid-April, late April, the frontline staff from our parking operator were furloughed, and only a handful have been brought back on in some limited capacities since then. In May and June, city staff, so myself, Heather, and Elias, kind of looking forward to what the resumption of parking would look like, started to put together a series of program and rate recommendations, much of which were built upon what we had brought to the board back in March, just before we all locked ourselves in our homes. And that's what ultimately went to council in June. So we did not have at a staff level the authority to suspend parking operations, AKA turn off the meters and stop charging in lots and garages. So we had to seek retroactive approval for that action. And then also we sought to update parking programs and rates. The first of which was the replacement of the validation program with a period of free parking. We had brought to the board an hour of free parking as a conceptual model back in March. We quickly kind of identified that an hour would not provide enough time for people to do the business that they were coming down to do, whether it was picking up and doing takeout. Back in the period of time where we were developing this, there was even fewer things open, but acknowledging that as restaurants opened, as salons were opening, that we would want to provide an option. And so settled on the 90 minutes of free parking. We proposed updating the incremental rate to offset that large amount of free parking to incremental rates of $1 every 15 minutes instead of every 20 minutes, and then slightly higher maximum rates on weekdays and on evenings and weekends, but maintaining the incremental rate throughout every day, all day, so that if you always get the 90 minutes of free, then your clock starts within the garages, if you will, and caps out dependent on when you arrived, weekday or evening or weekend. And then acknowledging that the previously in place discount merchant program was only available to merchants that were qualified for the validation program. And that meant most of your retail, quote unquote, businesses, your restaurants, your bars, the very limited amount of quote unquote retail businesses downtown, and salons and stuff, they could qualify, but there were very few that were doing it. It was predicated upon the business buying permits for their staff. So I think there were probably 30 total businesses, most with 1 or 2 permits, typically buying a permit for the business owner, business manager, maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 or 4 permits at most, lots of 1s and 2s. So it wasn't being widely beneficial to the frontline low wage earners. And like we had presented back in March, we sought to put together a program that would actually provide a benefit to the lower wage earners. So we proposed a downtown merchant program that was universally available to anybody that earned $20 or less per hour. So those were the 3 kind of keys. Additionally, we brought forward a recommendation to authorize the city manager to amend various long-term parking agreements to provide them some relief. All of the month-to-month parkers, everybody that was just buying monthly parking either individually or as a business, but didn't have a long-term lease, if you will, with the city, they were just provided free parking when we shut down. So from April through July, they did not pay. If they continued to park, that was fine, just as everybody did, very few, but it was free. There wasn't a charge. All of those that had long-term agreements, we didn't have the authority provide some level of relief to the large volumes of parking, and so that ultimately was approved. And then the last item, which just went to council yesterday, was to review it and put together a recommendation to council on a potential parking citation delinquent fee amnesty program, and that just went to council yesterday.
So Ari, I have a question
Sure.
on A-2, the
Yep.
updates. Are those 3 items in effect right now?
They are. So that was approved at the June 23rd meeting. And then from that point on, we continued to work towards what does reopening look like. And effective August 3rd, when we reopened the garages, those programs were in effect.
Thank you.
So after that point in time, so then we started working towards reopening. We worked with our operator, the Downtown Association, D3, on putting out messaging that the resumption of paid parking in the downtown would resume effective Monday, August 3rd. So that was at the downtown core meters and in our lots and garages. So in working with our operator, they outreached to our monthly customers. We put up new COVID signage. They put in new policies and procedures in place in terms of not only their own work within the offices, but accommodating people that wanted to come into the office to transact business. So they've got plexiglass shields. They've got a Ring doorbell so that people can ring the doorbell and they can let them in. We have a new appointment calendar program where people can actually make a scheduled appointment so they can come into the office, all to kind of achieve that social distancing aspect. We had to work with our equipment vendors to reprogram the systems and get them up and running with the new programs and rates. And then the operator had to work to recall some of the furloughed staff for the limited our operator is currently operating all of the new technology in our garages, which I believe I've shown the board at one point in time. There are dashboards and cameras and intercoms at all of the touch points within the facilities, enabling that remote location to run all of the sites. And so that's what we're doing. Obviously, there's some field staff with janitorial, cleaning, and security. And obviously the management personnel goes and visits the sites to collect money and do any other repairs. But for the most part, the staff is at the Market Street garage.
Anybody have any questions?
Oh, was that a question? No? Okay. So parking activity and revenue. So starting with the activity side of things, this is a snapshot of activity for the 4 core garages. The blue is our pre-COVID activity. The orange is basically March 19th through August 2nd. These were all manual counts. So as we closed down the locations, the gates were lifted, but we did 3 counts every day, morning, afternoon, and evening, just to get a sense of where we stood. So that's the orange line. And then the gray lines off to the side are our August occupancy numbers since we've resumed paid parking. So it's a depressing site, which if you've been downtown, I know Charlie, Henry, and most of us have at least gone down. It's quiet, to say the least, but it was necessary to turn the parking back on. The on-street side of things, this is only the off-street. The on-street side continues to be highly utilized. And having free parking on and off street was problematic. And then turning only one of the two systems on at a time just makes no sense. So the decision to turn back on paid parking, although from an occupancy standpoint, it isn't a super compelling argument, it was necessary just for the function of downtown. By charging at the on-street meters, you do start to get some turnover, which then pushes some people into the garages, although admittedly the activity levels are low.
Hey, Arian?
Yeah.
What's around 4th and San Fernando that would cause their utilization rate to be higher than the other three?
The construction of the property across from City Hall, there's hundreds of construction workers on site. And you can see here that it was high to begin with. Although we all went home, it still stayed pretty high because the construction workers were there. Then the strict no construction moratorium went on, and then they started resuming activity again. I took a snapshot from our garages for length of stay detail, just to get a sense of, well, although it's limited occupancy, how long are people coming and staying downtown, and acknowledging that we have 90 minutes of free parking, which are the first kind of 3 buckets. Blue are our permit holders, orange are visitors. This is number of transactions for each of these locations for the month of August, and how long are people staying. So as you can see, 4th and San Fernando gets a lot of people staying all day. Those are your construction workers. They just come, they pull tickets, or those that have elected to buy monthly permits are here. All the other garages, predominantly everything in the hour to 2 hour range. So just giving us a sense of what the activity levels are like. From a sheer quantity standpoint, the Market Street garage continues to be the volume leader, not necessarily the occupancy leader. And then from a revenue perspective, so this is July through August. So July through February was quote unquote normal. We were averaging about 1.7 million in revenue from visitor revenue in our lots and garages, monthly permit revenue in the orange, and then the on-street meters in green. And then mid-March, we shut down. We obviously collected revenue in March. This was suspended operations April, May, and June and July. Although some monthly revenue, both from agreements, mostly the agreements, very tiny amounts of visitor revenue that was basically bill back stuff for events that had happened. But this is some permit revenue that we received. Some of it we had to issue credits for. So this is received and then maybe issued credits here. And then August, our first full month back, collected about 600,000 in revenue, broken out mostly about 400,000 from permits, both agreements and regular monthly parkers, and then meters and just the limited visitor revenue.
Maybe a good point to make here, if anyone missed it, is that meters are only active right now for money. For revenue is at the downtown core.
So that's, in a nutshell, kind of where we stand. And we're using, so our fiscal year was started in July, where we collected, instead of 1.7 million, about 100 and, just under 200,000. So 1.5-ish million short of a normal month, and about $1 million less in August. And so we're using this now to start informing what we're putting together in the city's, what they call the annual report, which is the first pass at being able to update the budget. So where we would say a typical year in terms of revenue would be about 18 million. Our proposed budget, which was done back in early April, right at the onset of this, we had ramped that down to 14 million. Obviously, with these numbers and some gradual increases, we're starting to put that together on paper now.
And then you're going to balance that with the operating cost reduction?
That's where we're, so the revenue side's fairly easy to at least know, okay, here's what we've done for a couple of months. Here's some estimated ramping up over the next 10 months for the fiscal year. What does that look like? The expense side of things is where we'll have to really spend some time to look at where can we cut, what savings will be available to us. So we're starting that exercise and have been for the last couple of weeks.
So we'll know more in November.
Yes.
Okay, any questions? Okay, if no questions, we're going to go to
7B. Parking access and
Yeah.
revenue control. So this is a standing item. So all of the garages have been upgraded with the new equipment. We were just kind of finishing up the last garages back in the first part of the calendar year with the city hall and the city's employee garage. Those are now done. The last pieces of the project to be installed will be the parking guidance signs. Those are the 13 signs throughout the downtown core that are dynamic roadway signs that will allow us to display availability in all of our garages, direct traffic to the appropriate facilities, message anything. They're fully dynamic, where the old signs they are replacing were only showing vehicle count information basically in the garages, how many spaces were available. We'll be able to do that, but also use the signs in a more dynamic way for anything else that we might want to do from a transportation perspective. So that project's still moving forward as a component of this. And then, as I mentioned, our current operations are being run out of the Market Street garage in a modified miniature command center. We are finalizing the build out of this space at the 4th and San Fernando garage, right next to the credit union. And the ground floor retail space where we'll be able to manage the entire portfolio from one office with the computers, cameras, intercoms, which again will be paying dividends as we look at cost savings, where we used to staff all of these garages from effectively 6 a.m. till 2 or 3 a.m. We can now do that from one central location with minimal field staffing to do cleaning, maintenance, security, but not having people just basically sitting in an office or booth managing a single facility.
Is that all SP personnel?
Yes, yeah.
And who's paying for that?
The parking fund capital program is paid for the build out as a component of the parking revenue control system. So all along we had built out that space as a function of that project. So all the technology in the garages, the 13 roadway sign replacements, and the technology and build out of the command center was all bundled into that one project.
Thank you.
So the command center space that we call it there at the 4th and San Fernando garage is slated to be done with construction here in early October. We envision kind of being able to use the space once they do all the punch lists and everything else in kind of November timeframe. So hopefully by the time we come back to the parking board in November, we'll at least have a sense of kind of what that looks like and doing that.
Okay, go on to 8B, Aaron.
8B is a slot available, and Nathan Olish from the Downtown Association is joining us to provide us an update on kind of the efforts that they've been working with DOT on promoting downtown, limited parking, and just kind of the messaging aspect.
Is Nathan still on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Okay.
Our marketing arm.
Morning, Henry.
Nathan.
Hey, thanks, Arian. Good morning, board. I'm here to represent SJDA, some of the work that we're doing. You know, the bleak forecast is quite disheartening, but we're here to help. We want to boost those bars up. So I got kind of an overview update on what we're working on, really 3 main components here. So as of August 3rd to date, what we're working on, downtown recovery campaign, and then the events that we are also building into this component here. So briefly, you know, we're collaboratively building content and phase messaging on the back end. So when the information gets updated, we have the website to kick it off, let folks know. So we're redirecting people to the website for updates and social media. We've added a translation component to Park SJ website as well. We're really looking at equity inclusion through this process as well, highly focused on that. Actively promoting the 90 minutes free parking in all communication channels across, like I said, the website. We have our newsletters, social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, really pushing it out there, letting folks know, sharing content and so forth. Included the Downtown Recovery Campaign poster and decal distribution. So we have staff physically walking out on the streets right now. This week, next week, the last couple weeks, we've hit about 20% of the businesses that are open currently. It's a little funky with how things are right now. Some are open, some are not. Certain days of the week they're not. So we're trying to hit people where we can physically stop by their store, say, hey, please hand this out to your customer, employees, let them know that the parking garages are open. Big component to what we're doing. So we got little decals, we hand out a little goodie bag, if you will, of sorts to give them. Currently running ads for 90 minutes, free parking through digital ads, Mercury News website, as well as targeted display campaign, where we're retargeting folks that were previously going to My Go-To spot campaign. And then the farmers market is a crucial component because we are pushing people to the San Pedro Square Garage, where we can also hand out stuff to customers accordingly. So downtown recovery campaign, we are arduously working on that, trying to get people downtown, period. So we are running that through the 2019-2020 budget, the remainder funds that we have, there, but also more so doubling down on that opportunity. So we do have Park SJ logo on our marketing collateral and print ads, 90-minute free parking included on radio and TV spots. We've done a lot of work with local networks. Also, we have a hashtag DTSJ open on our website, as well as other messaging components to that. So we're going to be running that also on the parks equipment and pay stations. We are leveraging, as was mentioned a little bit ago about Alfresco, we are closing streets. So we do want to let people know, redirect them to other parking areas. Once again, increasing that revenue line, we need that. And then we have Ashley's Picks, who also will remain a weekly downtown or online contributor throughout the rest of our fiscal year 2020-2021 that will also be pushing out. So events, music, arts, downtown gems, and public placemaking through that. And then we have our events. We've pivoted heavily on this, as you all probably know. We can't really do what we've done in the past to bring people down. So we've modified some items here. October 1st and November 15th is our week, 6-week campaign. It used to be 10 days for dining downtown, promoting about 100+ businesses, specifically restaurants, and 15 will be featured as restaurants offering a special. The campaign will include a 90-minute free and general parking promotion to those folks. We're going to extend the farmers market as well through December 18th. We are looking at the roof dinner and movies opportunity here through, from October to November, where we do plan to do 40+ unique events to drive traffic to the garage and to the SOFA area district. And then we have our downtown holiday experience. So, obviously Christmas in the park isn't happening where it normally does. So we are looking at more of a passive, active experience in the Plaza Park Chavez for those who want to come downtown. So we are looking at different ways that we can communicate the message, pushing out through all channels and languages to the best of our ability. So as we're doing that, once again, looking at that revenue stream, how do we bump that up is what we're looking at. So I'll pause there. That's a quick overview, but if anybody has questions, please do.
Any questions? Nathan, thank you very much for the update.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, HC, Aaron.
Heather, maybe do you want to just give a brief synopsis on yesterday's council item and then anything else we might have going forward?
Sure. Good afternoon. Yesterday's, Arian mentioned in kind of his rundown of kind of COVID operations. Yesterday's on the consent agenda was a consent agenda item. So there wasn't a lot of discussion. Actually, there was no discussion at the council meeting yesterday about it, but the proposal for our citation delinquency fee amnesty program went forward and outlined a specific program to temporarily waive any delinquent fees that have accumulated on past due citations. And it was approved. So Elias has started the coordination effort to kind of promote and engage that program. Specifically what it means for anyone that has been issued citations prior to the COVID onset. So prior to March 19th, if you received a citation or any citations and they are currently unpaid, it's highly likely that you've accumulated late fees or collection fees of some sort. So we are going to waive those through the end of the year. So you have until December 31st to pay those fees and fines, the base fee and fine of your citation to then clear it off your outstanding bill. So effective January 1, those fees will be reapplied if we have not received payment for your citation. Currently, there's $25 million of outstanding citation fees and fines in the system. About half of that is really base fine amount. So we are waiving a substantial amount of money, but if you look at kind of the activity of those citations and the age of those citations, a lot of them are what we consider kind of uncollectible. They're more than 2 years old, and they've gone through the entire collection process, and the city has been unsuccessful in getting those paid. So we're hoping that in addition to providing relief to our communities that may be economically challenged due to the COVID situation, we are also hopeful that we will get some of those unpaid citations or uncollectible citations paid and off, kind of quote unquote, off the books. So it's an extensive program. With a long time frame. Typically, amnesty programs don't last this long, but we wanted to make sure that we gave enough opportunity for individuals to pay off those citations. Why that's really important is there could be some limitations around your vehicle registration. If you have outstanding tickets, it's likely that we've attached those tickets to your DMV registration and you won't be able to register your car. So we want to kind of remove the barrier to anybody that may be, again, having some financial difficulties at this time. We don't want them to go without a car registration. We want them to be able to clear these off their records. So this is the main reason we approached an amnesty program, and we're very pleased that it was passed yesterday. It's the first time in San Jose history that we've offered an amnesty program around citations. So it's a big win for parking, and we're very pleased that it's going forward. And we will definitely bring back updates as the program ends and we've gone through the entire process. We'll come back with some information on kind of how successful it is and what potential revenue we did pick up as a result. Oh, go ahead, speaker.
Yeah, I was wondering how do you plan to inform people that this program is in place so that they can start paying the tickets?
Sure. So as part of the program, we will be amending our current vendor contract, the vendor that we have that does the processing and collections for the citations for us. And they will be sending out individual letters to anyone that has an outstanding citation. Those letters will go via US mail to the registered owner's address on file with the DMV. and it will outline the program, and it will tell them how much they owe now as a result of the program, and if they don't pay, how much they will owe at the end of the program. We're hopeful that we'll be able to put that letter out in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Vietnamese is our goal. And it depends kind of on the length of that letter and if we can get it translated into 1 page for all those languages. But the vendor also has a phone and an informational line, so anybody can call in, and that information can be disseminated via the phone in those 3 languages as part of their contract. That's a requirement. We will also be doing kind of social media blasts through our DOT PIO, and we will be putting it on our website, DOT's website. It will go out in the city's flash report. A couple of news outlets have picked up the story. I know San Jose, I was on a call yesterday with San Jose Merc reporter, and hopefully we'll get a article written out of that. San Jose Spotlight picked it up earlier in the week. We will also have it on our vendor's website. So when you go to pay a ticket, that information will be on that website as well. So we're really hopeful that we're connecting people, and we're trying to get it out in as many forms as we can. I know D3 was interested in also looking at being able to blast that to kind of next door and other areas as well.
Yeah, I think Nextdoor is pretty widely used, especially when I look to my neighbors. So I think Nextdoor is definitely a good outlet to, get information like this out to public.
Yeah, I think social media will be a big help here, because it's not just in San Jose. I mean, that's where we definitely want to get it out to. But there are people that have tickets, that live outside, right? People that came in and were visitors or don't live here any longer and now are outside. Those tickets are running a 5-year span. So the more we can get it outside of San Jose, the better. Too. And then the only other item, Erin, could you give an update? I know Nate kind of touched on it briefly, but that we'll be going to council regarding the agreement for activities on the second San Carlos garage related to kind of the drive-in movie and event piece.
Yep.
Give a quick
So
nod to that.
next Tuesday, the 22nd, there's an item recommending authority to the city manager to negotiate an agreement with the owners, operators of the 3 Below theaters to provide them an opportunity to use the rooftop of the second and San Carlos garage as a potential space for an outdoor movie, all predicated upon it meets the requirements of the county and state guidelines, which, depending on what day and which information you find, may or may not say we could move forward with this, but thought it still prudent to move forward, giving the authority to the city manager to sign a use agreement for the space if we are in a position to do so. Given that there's no real adjacent outdoor space for that business, much like the restaurants and stuff using San Pedro or other areas around the city for outdoor business, thought it a kind of marriage of the retail space, the theater, in the garage or in the property to use the rooftop. So we're working towards that goal.
Isn't that completely against the county rules about gathering people?
So and that's where the attorneys are reviewing. Gatherings are defined as I understand it, and I'm far from the attorney, a gathering is a protest, a religious gathering, or I think weddings, funerals, and kind of First Amendment protests are all defined in the gathering section, but it says nothing about doing business. So it's dependent upon the attorneys to say, what's the difference between a restaurant having outdoor dining and a theater having outdoor seating separated by 10 feet to watch a movie. We're struggling with kind of finding the right spot where this lies. So
Trust me, we do this every day at the university, because I'm not allowed to gather 50 people on the lawn to do anything.
Yeah, and yet you could go to a restaurant and find 50 people a large tent eating dinner. So
Because they're individuals, that's the difference. It's one thing to have individuals gathered, but if they're all there for the same reason, then I think that's against the county code.
everybody at In-N-Out is there for the same reason.
Yeah, but they're there individually. They're there individually. Correct.
Yeah. So again, this is going to come down to the attorneys when it comes time to actually sign this thing and actually grant them the necessary permits to actually pull the trigger. Yeah, there's challenges, but we wanted to at least give ourselves the ability to where if we get the authority to move forward, the county approves it, the fire department approves it, all the stars align, then at least we aren't, okay, now we need another month of lead time to get ourselves there to approve something. So we will see if this actually happens.
Thanks, Heather and Marion.
Yep.
So I have a couple of things to ask, but does anybody else have anything they would like to? Daniel, I haven't met you. You're with who?
Hey, how's it going? I'm not sure if you're able to hear me that well.
You got the most professional mic of the bunch. You're
I know.
more than
well, hopefully it's coming across well. I'm just one of the members of the public, just kind of here checking things out, getting a little more involved in local politics, and figured, what the heck, might as well.
What do you do, Daniel?
I work in tech.
Let's see, we have 2 vacancies.
Yeah?
Arian,
All right.
did you get any response from city clerk on candidates? I think, can you hear me, Arian? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I
There
can
you
hear you.
go.
Yeah, sure.
Aaron, the question was, we have 2 at-large vacancies. Did the city clerk give you any candidates?
They do not give me any candidates. That's run by the clerk's office. Those then go to, I believe, D3 is the council liaison, and then ultimately for council approval. The clerk's office did respond at one point regarding kind of all of their work was been on kind of suspension, if you will, like most city business. But I thought they said, I was trying to look at my emails, that they'd be bringing forward some stuff to council. And Tamiko, you were somewhat caught up in that because your term was ending, and yet you reapplied and they didn't process it.
And I think it was extended till December anyway, and then, so we'll see.
And so I think they're planning to bring something closer to the end of the year.
Okay, hey, Daniel, keep in mind, we have a vacancy.
I absolutely will. I actually really appreciate you bringing that up. That's amazing. It's
Right.
been a very eye-opening.
If you need the information to apply, Heather or Aaron can, I think you have that information, don't you, Aaron?
Yeah. If you want to email me, we just send you the link to the city clerk's boards and commissions. There's an application there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
There's nothing else. We'll adjourn the meeting at 11:40.